Hi everyone, back to my YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day. This has pulled me off my sick bed dying of man flu to come on and do this. And just when you thought it was quiet, I thought I haven't heard from these wankers for quite a long period of time. Bang, there they are. It is TalkSport's own Beavis and Butthead, Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara. And to be fair to Beavis on this instance, he's actually talking sense. It's all about the butthead that is Jamie O'Hara in this instance, talking absolute shite on that radio station once again, probably for clicks and interactions, just like I'm giving around. But hey, fuck it, why not? I'm going to bite at this because this just pisses me off to no end. So obviously, Gareth Southgate's under massive pressure as the England manager because people are finally starting to realise that he is just a failed Middlesbrough manager, and he's kind of been quite lucky, I think, in regards to the England job. I know he's done quite well and took them quite far in tournaments, and England were in a really bad place when he came on. But to be honest with you, as a manager, I think he's got limited capacity, and he's showing that right now with some of the selections he's picking. Maguire and Henderson, who shouldn't be anywhere near that squad. He's even come out today and said that Phil Foden can't play central midfield, which is just the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. You've got a generational talent like Phil Foden. He's sitting on a fucking bench for a Mackham who's gone to Saudi Arabia for 700 grand a week. Give your head a wobble, Gareth Southgate, and loosen that waistcoat. It's cutting off the oxygen to your brain. But of course he's under pressure, so people are now starting to look about who could replace him. He's already come out, I think, and said that after the tournament that'll be him done with England, I believe. Tell me in the comments below if I'm wrong with that. But obviously other names have been linked. Pep Guardiola for one fucking name. I cannot see Pep taking that job, to be brutally honest with you. I really don't think Pep's ready to take an international job in general, let alone the England job. Graham Potter's probably the biggest candidate, which Jason Cundy did actually say. And I think Potter would do a much better job in Southgate. I think he's a much better manager. I think the Chelsea debacle was a bit harsh for Graham Potter. I just think he should never have took that job. I said that, I went on record and said that when he took it. Chelsea's where managers go to die. So I think Potter could come back, be the England manager, I think really rebuild his reputation. But of course, our brilliant manager, Eddie Howe, has been linked to the England job perpetually for a long time. Even when he was back at Bournemouth, he was linked to the England job. And then obviously when he got Bournemouth relegated, in the famous words of the Baron and Bacon, that all dissipated and disappeared. Now he's back in Newcastle doing wonders. His name's been linked to England ever since he's walked through the door. But Jason Cundy turned around and said, no, I don't think Eddie Howe will leave Newcastle. Jamie O'Hara was adamant that he thinks Eddie Howe will take the job. Let me just explain what the pinnacle of football knowledge that is Jamie O'Hara, who I think the most famous thing he did in football was, I think, probably score a goal for Spurs and shag Danielle Lloyd possibly. But so Jamie O'Hara, in all of his words of wisdom for football, said that he thinks that Eddie Howe will take the England job because it'll be an out for him. He's on the edge of a situation there. When he was pushed by Cundy, he said, do you think he'll get sacked? And he said, no, I don't think he'll get sacked, but I think he'll have an out there, because this is the bit that makes me laugh. He said, I think Newcastle are in a situation, results haven't gone for them, they're not going to do what people think they're going to do. So what do you think we're going to do, Jamie? Because you guys had us finishing outside the top four anyway. Only a few selected pundits had us finishing higher than that. Stuart Pearce, for one, had us winning the fucking league. But he said he thinks Newcastle are on the verge of replacing him with somebody big. So he thinks that Eddie Howe will take the England job. Utter fucking nonsense. Typical talk shite bullshit spewing out of this guy's face just for the interactions like I'm giving him now. But like I say, fuck it. I'm nibbling, I'm full of cold, and I haven't got any patience for these pricks. So the thing about Eddie Howe, I don't know if you've watched the Amazon documentary, Jamie O'Hara, but maybe you should do. Eddie Howe is lauded by these owners, by Amanda Staveley and Mehrdad Ghedussi. He's not in any danger of getting sacked at all by these managers. And yes, we've had a couple of iffy results, right? But let's call a fucking spade here. We played in the first 4 games, and we played, the top 6 or 7 teams that finished in the league last season. We played, Villa that was smashed 5-1. We played City, we played Liverpool, we played Brighton, and we lost those 3 games. And the City one, we didn't lose by a massive margin, and the Liverpool one we should have won. So if Eddie Howe had won that game, we would have had 6 points out of those 4 games, which would have been a tremendous start of the season. But that's football for you. Results can go up and down. We've got Brentford coming to the weekend. If we get back to winning ways, I'm sure all this talk will disappear behind. But the bit that really fucking annoys me about this whole thing with Eddie Howe is these media pundits are obsessed with us replacing Eddie Howe with somebody big, because we're owned by PIF and all the money that they've got and everything else. Who the fuck are we going to replace him with somebody big? What, Nagelsmann? What the fuck does he know about managing in the Premier League? Nothing. Spurs did this for years. Spurs had, Jose Mourinho, they had Conte, and they failed. The Chelsea managers, you could list the who's who of fucking Chelsea managers. Failed. This whole thing doesn't work. The Manchester United managers, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho again, failed. It's all fucking nonsense. This whole desire that you have to have this big name manager to succeed. I mean, look what Brighton did under Potter. Look what they're doing now under De Zerbi. You don't have to have this big name manager to succeed. Even Arteta, to an extent, at Arsenal was a bit of a novice when he came in. Look how well he's done. It's utter fucking bollocks. These guys are obsessed with replacing Eddie Howe with a big name, sexier manager. But that doesn't mean that he is going to do a better job than what Eddie Howe has done. What he's done at this club in a short period of time is nothing short of fucking phenomenal. He should have won manager of the season when he kept us up. And when he finished top 4, he should have won manager of the fucking season. The only reason he didn't is because Pep won the treble and the media just perpetually kissed Pep's arse. And fair play, he's probably the best manager that's ever lived. But, that's the only reason Eddie Howe didn't win those top awards. So this is just vintage TalkSport bollocks. Eddie Howe is not going to leave Newcastle to take the England job at all. No chance. I mean, obviously, if we start losing loads of games and he is under masses of pressure, of course the job will be under pressure. But I honestly do think that this manager, out of all the managers out there, will get way more time than anybody else to turn this around because he's deserved that time. It will be frustrating as a Newcastle fan, there's no doubt about that, if we lose a few more games on the spin. But Eddie Howe has earned his right to turn whatever fortunes around at this football club. I still don't think he's massively satisfied with the transfer window. I think he's one or two bodies light. I think he's almost shown that, subtly. January will be coming. I think Eddie Howe will want 2 or 3 players through the door there. But I don't see him leaving to take the poison chalice. That is the England job anytime soon. That's got Graham Potter's name written all over it for me. Stop being lazy, TalkSport. Do your fucking jobs properly and stop talking shite. That's me done for my rant today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I've struggled to get through it. Paracetamol time for me, I think. Smash a like if you like this kind of thing. Subscribe if you fancy it. We've got a membership scheme too. Go check that out. I'll be back soon with a match preview and a post-match review for hopefully Newcastle back to winning ways on Saturday against Brentford. Have a cracking day. See you later. Bye-bye.